Hi everyone, and welcome back to my studio. I'm Tatiana, and today we are escaping into this beautiful snowy winter scene. I generated this photo of that yellow tram against the cold architecture, and I'm planning to capture that glow in the watercolor today. Я буду говорить по-русски. Если будут вопросы, пожалуйста, спрашивайте, всегда рада ответить. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate, ask me. I will be happy to answer you. If you're joining me live, say hello in the chat. Let me know if you're painting along with me or just relaxing with a cup of coffee. Probably if you noticed already, I did initial drawing. I decided to do it because it's very easy to get lost in the architecture details, and it's very easy to get confused. So I decided to capture big shapes, the shape of tram, the shape of buildings, with very rough sketch. It's just a road map for me, nothing else. And usually I paint with my transparent 4 colors. I'm gonna show you right now. So this is my reliable palette. Actually, here is 3 colors, but sometimes if I need darker value, instead of cobalt blue, I use French ultramarine. So this is nickel azo yellow, road madder permanent, and cobalt blue. My favorite 3 paints for years. I'll probably use them, but in the same time, I'm gonna to experiment with opaque colors today. Mostly paints on that palette you see they are from Holbein watercolors, except probably this one. This one is from Himi, Chinese watercolor from Himi, and this is actually from Daniel Smith. It's titanium buff titanium, and this is from Holbein, and the rest of them almost from Holbein. A few colors, a few dark browns from different brands. I think Payne's gray from Da Vinci, I think. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter. Just indigo, Payne's gray, and sepia. So since my winter cityscape, it has warm gray, cool gray, so I decided to experiment with the peak colors. We'll see what happens. Every painting is always an experiment. Немножко в 2 словах скажу по-русски, что обычно я работаю со своей триадой от Дэниел Смит. Это синий, желтый, красный. Но сегодня я буду экспериментировать с непрозрачными, большинство из них непрозрачных красок. И большинство из них, за исключением вот этой китайской белой от Хими и Buff Titanium от Дэниел Смит, большинство из них это из линейки Гальбейна, Holbein Watercolors. Okay, I'm gonna wet my paper. I'm gonna put a lot of water on both sides of my paper. I don't know what city it is, but I guess it's Lviv, because that city is famous for its yellow trams. And I found it's very, interesting to have that warm yellow train against the cold architecture and gray sky. So I decided to paint this winter scene because it's kind of, holiday time. But I wasn't in the mood to paint something bright or like evening scene or night scene with a lot of dark blue colors and orange colors. I want something very neutral, calm. That's why I like this reference photo. If you're joining me right now, I'm introducing myself again. I'm Tatiana. Welcome. I'm going to paint in watercolor this winter cityscape. Say hello in the chat. I would appreciate it. Ask questions. Задавайте вопросы. Всегда буду рада ответить на них. Okay, my paper is wet enough. But since I'm in Las Vegas, we have like 10% humidity. My paper will be drying very fast, especially in this vertical position. Yeah, thank you. It would be nice. Which country everyone in the chat from? So right now I'm painting in Las Vegas, Nevada. We don't have snow, unfortunately. But originally I'm from Belarus. Usually we have a lot of snow every year, every winter over there. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. And especially my Russian heavy accent, probably. Okay, right now my surface is too wet because there is a lot of shine. It means it's too early to start painting. So this is makeup sponge, and I really like this tool. So it absorbs water very well. So it's a magic, but shine is already disappeared. So and I can start working with my watercolor. I'm gonna use this kind of angle synthetic brush. Usually it's my favorite brush for floral painting, but I think it's gonna be easy to paint the tram with this the tram with this brush. We'll see. So as I mentioned before, I'm gonna use mostly opaque paints, and I will start with the Mars Yellow, actually from Daniel Smith. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I like this color because it's not too yellow. It's kind of very calm, not bright yellow. It's actually very good for skin color as well. I use it for my portraits. So, and this is initial few brush stroke on my tram, and this side of the tram, it's cooler than this one. So to this Mars Yellow, I'm gonna add probably I need lavender, but unfortunately I lost my lavender. Okay, instead of lavender I will add maybe a little bit of Payne's gray. Too much water on my brush. Maybe I'm gonna try lilac actually. I know I don't pronounce a lot of words correctly, but forgive me please. So here's Mars Yellow, lilac, and a little bit of cobalt blue. And we have light here on the road from the it's probably a reflection from tram, and also the light from this lights. So this brush is from for oil painting, but I like it. You know, it's very easy to paint with this brush windows. Actually, I'm gonna paint the whole shape, dark shape. Watercolor is so unpredictable, you know. So hopefully I'll do it okay today. Another angle brush. And I will try to save my lights here. So right now I'm mixing very kind of dark color, and I want to give a suggestion of a person inside the tram. So here it's already dry, and I'm going to turn my painting upside down. Oops. And I'm going to wet again. So I'm going to wet the sky, the buildings, everything with a very neutral gray, but my gray, you'll see, it will be somewhere it's gonna be cool gray, somewhere it's gonna be more warmer gray. Maybe I will save that snow. So right now I'm mostly using titanium buff titanium, I'm not sure. You see, on this side I'm trying to make it more warmer. But even sky, because it's a cloudy day, overcast, even my sky gonna be gray. For those who joining right now, I'm Tatiana and we are painting winter cityscape. Okay, and the same thing with my ground, with my foreground. Buff titanium. Maybe it's gonna be darker. A little bit sepia. Maybe a little bit to that mix Payne's gray. And it's time to start my buildings. I'm gonna start with my background, maybe more bluish color. Since the surface is wet, it's easier for me to keep my edges soft. Thank you so much. You know, I have experience. I've been painting my whole life, but even now, you know, it's every painting, I feel like every painting is a challenge. I'm always learning. If you noticed, I'm using different brushes, smaller, bigger, depends of the area I'm working on. And I feel like I need to add more value to my tram. And this tram has very, you know, unique shape. forgot this warm color in that window. Because it's a nice support to my yellow tram. So right now is gonna be the second wash on that building. Maybe I'm leaving some whites. Suggestion for the balcony and for architectural elements. And this part of the building, it's more even darker than this one. It's okay. I'm gonna wet my paper here a little bit because it's too dry on the top. You know, architecture is not the easiest subject to paint. We need to be very careful not to paint a lot of details, because in this case it's very easy to be lost in these tiny little things. О, спасибо. Спасибо очень за поддержку. И для всех, кто присоединился, меня зовут Татьяна. И мы рисуем вот такой пасмурный зимний сюжет. If you're going to paint using my video, please tag me on Instagram. I'm the dancing brush. It's very easy to find, and I will be happy to see you painting. And I will show you painting actually in my story. Thirsty brush effect. So clean synthetic brush, and I'm removing paint. The paint, it's impossible because the surface is still wet. The paint is still wet, and I'm gonna wait, and I will I don't like this too much contrast here on my windows. I'm gonna fix it later. Just it's too wet around those windows right now. I'm gonna do it later when it's will be dry, this area. I'm trying to find the correct color. For those windows. Maybe it's too dark. Here we don't need this bright color. Maybe some blue reflection on that side of the tram. And more dark here. Actually, I don't see any details in that area, so I'm not sure how it works here. So that's why I'm gonna leave it just like a suggestion. And of course, I need to indicate the shadow, you know, under the tram. Probably on that side too, as well. I don't need contrast here. But I'm gonna use probably maybe Indian yellow or so, because I want to show like a really warm color. Okay, that's better. And we don't need white here. We don't need white here as well. Because on that cloudy day, even the snow looks like bluish gray. Okay, it's time. I think it's time for me to paint this building. It's very dry in this area, and I'm gonna put some water first. I'm removing the excess of water. Избыток воды убираю спонжиком. I need to mix something really dark. Not dark, not the darkest dark, but probably warm dark gray. I'm gonna start with Payne's gray. Maybe I'm gonna add Naples yellow. Maybe a little bit of like English red. Since the roof closer to the sky, it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to have bluish color. And more blue here as well. Because we have reflections from the snow. Suggestions for windows. I don't like this one. I'm gonna get rid of this one. more details. So forgive me, I'm not talking because you know, this is like that kind of step that I need to really concentrate on that. What I'm doing right now. Details. So right now I have like something Chinese calligraphy, very small brush. It's very good for this kind of work. I'm gonna paint this person. Naples yellow for the face. And something dark neutral for the rest of the body. It's too dark. This person has a head. Some back. There is another person. But I need to do it less obvious. Just a suggestion. And I really like this public lighting. Probably I'll so I'm not copying the picture, just There's a lot of improvisation. Maybe it's too dark. I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll correct it a little bit. Sorry. And again, thirsty brush. Thirsty brush. Working with thirsty brush. Removing paint. Give it more definition. Okay, we are painting 54 minutes and I'm almost done. Just a few more details. And of course, I'm gonna make it snowing a little bit later when I finished my details. I'm gonna add Chinese white. Maybe it's, let me try it first. Maybe it's too, that's okay. I thought maybe it's too thick, but I think I forgot the window here. And I don't like this construction. It's confusing. But overall, I really like how I catched already the atmosphere of that, you know, December day, probably in Western Europe or Eastern Europe. Okay, now the scary part. It's too thin. And lighter color, thinner brush. Okay, I think that's enough. I don't like the contrast here and sharp edge over there, so I'm gonna soften some edges. It's confusing in that area. Now it's a little bit better. Some texture. Each art college. Actually, I studied oil painting in my college many years ago, and I used to work in oil for like 20 something years. Oil, acrylic, mostly oil. But in 2011, I completely switched to watercolor. And now I work in watercolor and pastel, soft pastels. So some texture. And it's time for snow. I'm gonna use Chinese white from Zimny. Especially I need white on dark areas of my paintings. So not too much, just a little. And with a tiny brush, let me find my tiny brush. It's not easy to find anything in my studio. I went to college in Belarus. Okay, and a few bigger white strokes. Okay, I'm mixing some dark grayish color. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm gonna sign my painting already. You know what? I really like how this winter landscape turned out. I think I captured that glow of my yellow tram with the cold, as I said before, with the cold architecture. I like that mood, you know. If you if you enjoyed this session, please give this video thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And if as I mentioned before, if you painted with me or you will paint it later, so please mention, tag me on Instagram. I'm the dancing brush, and I'll see your version and I will share it in my stories. And thank you so much for spending time with me today. It was a wonderful session. I truly enjoyed it. And I hope see you next Monday for another session. Until then, stay creative, and I'll see you soon. Спасибо большое. Всем спасибо, кто присоединился. Было очень приятно, и я надеюсь, что мы увидимся с вами через неделю. Happy Holidays! И всем я желаю хороших новогодних праздников. Пока-пока. Bye.